Now in our project we have the main web project, but the place where we will have our data and all of the other items will be in our API and not main project. So APIs will be the heart of the application. Main project or the web project will be responsible to call the API and display the data. So we need to create our first API. Inside our solution, we will right click and we will create a new folder. I will call this as services. In there we will have all the APIs. So we will right click here, add a new project. This time it will be an API project. So you can search for API here, and we have ASP.NET Core Web API project. We'll select that, hit the next button. We have to give this a meaningful name. The first API that we will create will display all of the products that we are selling. So we can call the project name as mango.services.product.api. With that, let's create that, and we have few options. We will select the .NET 6 here. Authentication type will be none, but make sure that you enable the Open API support. With the Open API, documentation of the API will already be done and Swagger will be configured. Of course, we'll be modifying that later in the course. So with that, let's create this API project. Now we have two projects. So if we want to run our API project, we will right click here and set this as the startup project. After that, let's run the API project and see how it looks. By default, it will have the weather forecast API. We can try this out. So if we expand this, select try it out and execute, it will retrieve some data. But you can see with default implementation, Swagger has been configured and everything looks much cleaner now. From the next video onwards, we'll be working on API project and we want to perform CRUD operations on product. But first we have to create that product inside the database. So let's do that in the next video.